Attention, everyone. Proximity Learning is an industry leader in online education that continues to grow rapidly. We provide great virtual instruction for students and dynamic support for teachers with their school districts. Learn more about Proximity Learning at proxlearn.com or connect with us on all social media outlets. Career opportunities are available by emailing hr@proxlearn.com. That's hr@proxlearn.com, or call us at 1-800-524-8570. Proximity Learning is here for you. Join us this upcoming school year.
Listeners, thank you for tuning in to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with a twist on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM, where there's always something good to talk about. You are in for a real treat as our special guests discuss students everywhere deserving a quality education from exceptional educators, a knowledgeable leadership team of former superintendents, principals, administrators, teachers, ed tech entrepreneurs, and more. Proximity Learning Incorporated, also known as PLI, have been around and enthused about virtual instruction since 2009. They are not new to this. They grew into this as it was not the trend today that you may be aware of, but Proximity Learning INC realized long ago the power and importance of virtual teaching, finding a solution to the problem of education, long-standing equity challenges. Proximity speaks the same language as the schools. Why reinvent the wheel? Proximity Learning teaching team is structured to ensure that the same functions as the schools and their teachers know who to reach out to for resources and additional support. Come on and take a ride on the train to success, like other school districts in states and areas such as Georgia, Illinois, West Virginia, New Mexico, Tennessee, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, North and South Dakota, Ohio, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, just to name a few. Proximity Learning may ask some people, well, what's the problem? If you have all of these school districts, what is the problems with so many schools and what are they facing? Well, that's the easy answer. As many schools across the globe, staffing, world language, shortage of teachers, low college and university graduation rates, a gap between student achievement in rural and suburban school districts, recruiting and retaining qualified teachers and substitutes, schools' locations, and we all know that education and location is the key to success. High turnover, right? That's all there. Those are all super challenges. Lack of options and curriculums, which affected the ability for students to grow globally. Low test scores, lack of resources, no intent to blend learning programs, shortage of special education teachers. The list goes on and on and on. So, what is the solution, you may ask? That's rather easy. Proximity Learning Incorporated. Easy. That's the solution. Wow, no brainer, right? So guess what? Joining me this evening, I have John Rolak. Marsha will be joining us soon, Marsha Hammond, and Dion Lucas. So welcome to the platform.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much. I thank you guys for all that you do and definitely your time and energy on tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with you all telling us a little bit about yourself. John, why don't you go first?
Okay, so my name is John Rolak. I am the HR manager with Proximity Learning. This is my 21st year in education. I started out as a special education teacher, transitioned into school administration, and I was a principal for 9 years, started 2 STEM high schools, and then I transitioned into HR and recruiting in 2015. I've been with PLI for about 1.5 years now. I truly enjoy it. It allows me to work with new teachers, build that foundation, and make sure our students have quality educators. but it also allows me to have the flexibility that I need to be a good husband and a family man at the same time.
All right, good stuff. Love that. Family first, right? I always say faith, family, and finances, and everything else falls asunder.
Exactly. Same here.
Absolutely. Dion, go ahead and share about PLI and your background as well.
Yes, I'm going into my second year with the PLI family. I've been in education for about 15 years in brick and mortar, but I'm telling you, going virtual, it's a staycation. They're able to work at home and balance my time with family and friends. So currently, I'm a teacher trainer and help out with recruiting, just top candidates to come enjoy the PLI family. And I'm just having a blast. And so glad to be on your show, Miss Ty. Definitely to share all the good things about proximity.
Good stuff. Super excited to have you guys here, as I stated. So go ahead and tell us, what is PLI? What is it all about?
So I'll start out with what we are not. So people have the misconception that virtual education means that you put classroom assignments on a website, kids do their assignments, the teacher grades them, and that's it. That is not what we do. We deliver quality, live, synchronous instruction to our students every day. So what we do, we're a company that started in 2009, as were mentioned, and we make sure that we hire quality teachers and we place those quality teachers in school districts where they cannot find teachers. And that could be in a rural area, or it could be in an inner city area, or it could be in the suburbs. As you know, there's a huge teacher shortage in America. And because of that teacher shortage, educators like myself could not find quality teachers. So what we do is we place good teachers in those school systems, and those teachers are the teacher of record for the entire school year. Our teachers are not subs. They're not there for 6 weeks or 2 months. They're there for the entire school year. They build relationships. They develop lessons. We use project-based learning. We use inquiry-based learning. We want to make sure kids are mastering concepts so that they are prepared for life after high school.
Good stuff. Now, John, who do you guys cater to?
We typically work with inner city and rural areas, just because those are the areas where teachers are the most needed. You know, for the most part, if you look at an area like West Virginia, it's a rural area, and a lot of people are leaving West Virginia, and Ohio is the same way. They're leaving West Virginia and Ohio to go to different areas just because they're more teaching jobs or the weather's nicer. So those districts have trouble finding teachers. So we partner with those school districts and we make sure that they have quality teachers. But we work in all 50 states. We primarily target the Southeast and the Northeast. Those are our hot areas, but we are branching out west. So we are in the Midwest a little bit, and we are going into the West Coast just a bit. We're in New Mexico and Arizona right now.
Wonderful, wonderful. So as I mentioned earlier within the introduction, location is everything. So, and let's just jump right to it. We know that there are people out there that are passionate about education and they want to work in the field, but oftentimes the field is not meeting them where they are, right? Mm-hmm. So how can teachers apply for a virtual position?
So teachers can go to our website, proxlearn.com, and they can apply on our website. So that is proxlearn.com, proxlearn.com. They can go to that website, go to our teachers page, and they can apply. And on that website, it will list all of our job openings, and you can apply for any role that you're looking for, whether it's a core area such as math, science, English, or social studies, or if you're a specialty teacher, like an ASL teacher or a Spanish teacher or a special ed teacher or a CTE teacher. We're always looking for great teachers in those areas as well. We call those teachers unicorns because they teach so many different things and their certifications are from so many different areas that we love hiring them, because school districts really have a hard time finding, a biomedical science teacher. That's an area that school districts just can't find a teacher. So we love hiring those teachers and placing them with schools.
Good stuff. Now, you also talked about how you're in 50 states. So does PLI offer courses in domestic and international areas as well?
Right now, we focus solely on the United States, but we who are living in other countries. So we have one teacher who lives in Japan, and I love her dearly because she's always working. She works all night to be able to teach during her class times, which are in the US. So basically daytime here is at night there. So she works from like 12 a.m. until about 6 a.m. Japanese time. But she does a phenomenal job. So teachers who are in other countries can work with us. We typically work with people who are in the military, so military spouses, because they move every 2 years. We really like working with those parents or those teachers because they move every 2 years and have to start over. or we target parents who are, new parents. And one parent wants to stay at home with the kids because you don't want the kids in daycare all day. So we target them as well. So, a spouse that wants to do a half day and then spend the other half of their day with their family. Those people are great fits for our organization. And we also work with retired teachers because most retired teachers want to work with us and they only want to teach 2 to 3 hours a day and then they can enjoy the rest of their day. So they get the best of both worlds. We do have a few teachers like Dion who wanted to teach all day, who teach all day and have a lot of energy. We love them as well, but we do really focus on those people who want a part-time role, who only want to work a half day, but maybe 5-6 hours a day. Those are prime targets for us, but we do have some roles where you can work a full day if you choose to do so.
Wow, that is totally awesome. And I may be getting ready to ask a question that I may know the answer to, because you kind of described it, how flexible you are and how you're actually meeting people where they are. Man, it makes anybody want to jump on the bandwagon of greatness. So why offer a virtual school option?
Just because kids learn better that way. If we really think about it, the kids who are in school right now were born with technology. They were born with an iPhone, an iPad, or some type of tablet, and they've been using it since they were 2 years old. Usually the limiting factor when it comes to technology is the teacher. If the teacher's okay with technology, they use it all the time. If a teacher doesn't use technology, they hand out worksheets all day. And if you go back and really take an assessment on the kids who are using technology tend to perform better in school than those kids who are using books and worksheets and writing essays on pencil and paper every day. Those kids struggle in school. They really like technology because they love screen time. If you think about any kid today, they're not going outside to play the way that we used to. They're playing video games on the screen. They're playing video games on their phone or on their laptop. So with PLI, we use what they love, but we use it in a purposeful way and help them educate themselves. And also, if you think about K-12 education, we're always about 20 years behind colleges. Colleges have been offering virtual classes since the early 2000s, and they've done it very, very well. But in K-12 education, we're really just starting to scratch the surface as to what we can do. And I say the only good thing that came out of COVID was the fact that it has forced us as educators to evolve. We can be really stagnated as teachers because we find our niche and we want to stick to it. And with COVID, it forced us all to step outside our comfort zone, and kids actually performed better at home when they had that live teacher there to make sure that they were learning, but they were able to learn in their own way. And then it allowed a kid to ask a question, because as you know, if you're a kid and you're sitting in a class of 30 students, you're really not going to raise your hand and say, Miss Lucas, I don't understand what you're talking about. Can you explain that quadratic formula again? Those kids aren't going to ask those questions, but in a virtual setting, they ask a lot of questions because they can raise their hand virtually and no one else in the class can see it except for the teacher, or they can chat their questions to their teacher. So it's just like texting. So it's almost like a game to them. So it's almost like you're tricking them into learning. You're making learning fun for them, and they master their content and they perform better than students who are sitting in traditional settings.
Right. So I think I'm going to have to throw an oh my question into what you just explained about virtual learning. It really helps children more and they are more effective in that, because let's keep it real. The school systems now have had or feel like they've had many challenges that the students have not been succeeding in the virtual world. Hence why they are forcing the kids back into the schools now, coming this year. With COVID, they're saying, well, kids are not performing. Parents are unable to sustain or educate the children, which I always say, hey, education starts at home. You can't just depend upon the teachers, right? So in this oh my question, what will you say to those parents and those educators or superintendents and principals who are really pushing the kids to come back to school because they feel like the kids are not doing well virtually? How would you answer that? And Dion, you can feel free to jump into the question as well.
I would always ask them first about their virtual program. So what type of virtual are they offering? Is it asynchronous or is it synchronous? Because there's a huge difference in the two. And are you in a situation where half the kids are at home and half the kids are at school? Because if you're doing that, you're basically putting a Band-Aid on a laceration. And what I mean by that is the teacher's not really teaching anymore, they're tutoring. And that's what I call it. If you're actually going to educate kids, they all need to be in the same setting, meaning either all virtual or all face-to-face. It's hard for a teacher to have 10 kids in class and 10 kids virtually because that teacher is still locked in front of that computer. They can't get up and move around and things of that nature. And then two, I asked them what their impression of a virtual classroom looks like. And if it means that you're just sitting in front of a screen and listening to someone lecture for 60 minutes, then that's not virtual instruction either. That's also tutoring. What we do is we teach our kids using STEM and problem-based learning strategies to make sure that kids are learning and they're using exploration tactics to learn concepts, meaning that the teacher is a facilitator more than a teacher. I hate the word teacher, and I don't like to use the word hate, but I started this in 2010. I used to tell my teachers that you're not teachers, you're facilitators or professors. And there's a huge difference because when our kids go into college, professors don't lecture the entire time. They may talk about a topic and then open it up to a discussion. Only in K-12 education do we expect the teacher to talk the entire period. And those processes need to change. We need to evolve. It didn't work in the 50s. It didn't work in the 40s. It didn't work in the 30s. And unfortunately, we're still using an educational model from the 30s and 40s, the 1930s and 40s. And here we are in 2021, almost 100 years later, still using the same model. That does not work. We have to evolve. Every other industry in the world has evolved except for education. So that's how we push our model, and we're pushing education forward because kids learn better this way.
Insanity, same thing, same results.
Exactly.
Wow. Dion, you have anything to speak to?
Hey, I love what John was saying, but you're right. We're teaching live for about an hour. So we're chunking our assignments within 15 minutes, like starting out with the bell ringer or do now, an educational activity. And then you have your essential question, like, how are you going to hook these students? How are you going to apply it to real life? And so every 15 minutes is an activity. And then since we're on virtual platforms, we could use breakout rooms, like in brick and mortar, how you have stations in the classroom, or you could have stations in the breakout rooms, like, okay, you go into this activity. And again, as teacher, we're floating or facilitating from breakout room to breakout room. So it's so engaging. And then bring everyone back for exit ticket, like what we're going to do for the lesson and what activities going to do for the next class period. It's so rewarding. And it's so, I mean, for virtual platforms, if you're engaging, you're going to enjoy what you're going to do, and you're going to be in it for a long term. You're not going to experience burnout. And so what John was saying earlier, like the status quo in the past, we're evolving, we're growing, we're expanding. And so as you grow, the student's going to be more engaged and in tune to graduate on time.
Awesomeness. Thank you so very much, both, for those great answers. I love how I threw a thorn at you and you poked me right back. That's good stuff. Thank you very much. So let's get to the meat of some of it. What does the training consist of?
Okay, so we train our teachers on our platforms. Obviously, we are not trying to change our teachers. We do not have a cookie cutter model where everyone has to fit into that model. Dion is a perfect example of that. She is always outside the box. I think the same way. I'm always the person that's always trying to invent something new, and I have to remind myself, hey, you know what? That will's already working. Why are you trying to change it? You know, let's make it better, but let's not create a new will. And we do the same things. We teach our teachers how to teach virtually. And what I mean by that is how to avoid screen fatigue. And as Dion was alluding to, instead of talking the entire period, put kids in groups, put kids in breakout rooms and let them have discussions and conversations, bring them back and have them report out. But do things that you're not going to have to talk the entire time. We also teach them how to use technology appropriately, meaning that this laptop that we're talking on right now is used for more than just typing an email or watching a video. There's so many other things that you can do with that. If you were talking about a quadratic formula, let's talk about why the quadratic formula is important. Let's talk about who invented it. Let's talk about how we use it after high school. Let's talk about how we use it in college. Let's talk about how we use it in the workforce. We make everything applicable to their lives at home and in the classroom. And when you connect those two dots, kids are bought in because they never really leave the classroom because they are learning at home. They're learning in the car with their parents. They're learning at grandmother's house. They're learning when they're in the building. And that's what we do with our students every day. We teach them that learning is always ongoing. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you're always going to learn something new.
Good stuff. So you touch on how great it is for teachers or educators having the ability to meet each other where they are, coming to Prox Learn, especially. With that being said, can teachers set their own schedules? They
can. You know, that's the beauty of our program. As a former teacher, I remember we took turns to go to the bathroom. You know, we would have to say, hey, you know, I'll go after first period, you go after second period, and I'll watch your class while you come back. With us, you can set your schedule. If you want to work from 10 to 2 every day, that's fine. You can work from 10 to 2 every day. If you want to sleep in a little bit and maybe work from 12 to 4, you can work from 12 to 4. If you want to work all day, you can do that. We have a multitude of schedules. We can set them for you. Our only ask is that you set yourself up in a 4-hour block of time. You at least have to do a 4-hour block of time so that if we have 6 classes of math, We don't want to have 6 different teachers teaching those 6 different classes. That's not fair for the kids. It's not good for consistency. So if we had 6 sections, maybe we have 2 teachers teaching them. Maybe Dion and I are the math teachers at Kendrick High School. We can collaborate. We can work together. We can talk to each other, and we can make sure that we're kind of, doing some of the same things so that parents are on the same page. So they can't say that, hey, Mr. Rolak's doing one thing and Ms. Lucas is doing something totally different. We want consistency. We set up PLCs and department meetings and training. So we have professional development that goes on with our teachers throughout the entire school year. So once you finish your onboarding process, we teach you how to use our platforms. Then we teach you how to write lesson plans, how to master content in the school that you're going to work with. And then throughout the year, we have different professional development goals that we work with you on to make sure that you're continuing to grow as a teacher.
Okay, now is there a requirement for the teachers to be licensed in multiple states?
So you have to be licensed in at least one state. So like I'm licensed in North Carolina, but maybe I'm going to teach in Texas. Mm-hmm. We will pay for the reciprocity so that you can teach in the state of Texas. We'll get you licensed in the state of Texas. We pay for that. All you have to do is show up and teach.
Wow.
To make you more marketable as a teacher as well, because a lot of our teachers have certs in 5 to 6 different states, and we pay for all of that. All they have to do is fill out the paperwork and submit it.
So with the package, because a lot of people, we know that benefits and incentives and bonuses, just receiving something other than that paycheck, right? Mm-hmm. Not feeling like it's just over broke, which is a job, right? Not feeling that way. So are there any benefits, incentives, and bonuses for your staff?
We do. We offer health insurance to all of our teachers, no matter how many classes you teach, whether you teach 1 class or you teach 6 classes. Wow. We offer the same health insurance. There is a 401k that you can sign up with after you've taught with us for a year. You have to work with us for a year, and then you can sign up for our 401k. And then we do offer different bonuses throughout the year. Like this year, we offered a bonus to teachers who didn't take days off. We gave them a monetary incentive for not taking days off. And most good teachers don't take time off anyway. They just let their time accrue and roll over. And then, they retire and they have all these days, and they get paid for some of them and they lose the rest. We paid our teachers for doing the right thing. So we gave them a bonus for that.
Wow. So it seems like some people may have career changes here soon. Listening to this.
Exactly.
We're going to make that shortage no longer a shortage, right?
Exactly.
So would you happen to have a referral program? And if so, how does that work?
We do have a referral program. So if you are, let's say you're going to come work for us, Marsha is our lead recruiter, and you can email Marsha and just email that referral to her. Her email address is mhammond@proxlearning.com. So you can actually email that email address, just send that referral to her, and then she will contact the candidate. If they decide to teach with us, we pay the person who referred them a bonus based on the number of classes that they teach. So it can be up to $250. So it's a pretty good program. We have one teacher who's referred, I think, 12 people to us. So she's set up to get a really nice bonus at the end of the next semester.
Ding, ding, ding. Marsha's right on time. Welcome to the platform, Marsha. She joined in right on time as we were talking about you. We hope that your ears and your heart were burning. So it was some great things. We thank you for joining us. I'm Ty Barnett, and you're on the Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 platform and Keeping It Real with Miss T. So welcome.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks so much. I hear you're talking about our wonderful referral program. It's been very exciting to see new candidates come in and be referred by other employees who are so happy to be here with us at Proximity Learning that they just want to share the wealth, I guess.
Absolutely. So Marsha, if you'll go ahead and share with the listeners a little bit about you and your vision or your position with ProxLearn.
I am a talent acquisition specialist. I just moved into this position after being a physics and just general science teacher after the last couple of years with Proximity Learning. So this is a brand new venture for me. I've been in education for over 30 years now. I retired from public school teaching in North Carolina after 27 years. And then just right after that, because I miss teaching so much, I jumped right into the opportunity here at Proximity Learning and have been just so happy ever since. So.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for that. So now we're going into partnerships. So Dion, what connections do you have with NVTA. And for those of you out there who do not know what NVTA is, it is National Virtual Teacher Association. So do not put the S on the end of that. It's not plural, it is singular. So again, NVTA, National Virtual Teacher Association. What connections does PLI have with
Oh, you were talking about bonuses and raises. Well, just like in brick and mortar, how teachers, if they're national board certified, they get a 5% raise. Same is true if you're national virtual teacher certified. And part of the program, PLI will pay for part of your certification process if you complete it within 9 months. And I am a recipient of that process. And so I graduated from the NVTA last fall, got my badge of honor. So, but I tell you that with the connection, you're connecting with people all over the world. And when the pandemic happened, everyone was virtual. So how about connect, share resources, help? It's a great mentorship program. And that it's just great partnership that PLI has with NVTA. Yes, ma'am.
Now, is that a requirement that all of ProxLearn teachers and educators go through in order to be with ProxLearn?
No, ma'am. It's just a resource. If a person is interested in getting nationally certified, it's an option for them. But we have free professional development each month for teachers to get on board with our learning platform. So it's not required, but it's very helpful for those to be a part of the mentorship program. Marcia, and so I know you had like candidates that also asked questions about the NVTA. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, I'm in the middle of the process of attaining my NVTA certification as well. A lot of what the program offers, well, the main reason we're offering it NVTA is to make sure that proximity learning offers the best to our clients, to our districts and schools who want to hire us and to have teachers come in and fulfill their needs in the classroom. We want to provide the best teachers for them. NVTA is focused specifically on teaching virtually. I don't know if you've heard of the National Board Teacher Certification process, but it's a highly rigorous program that teachers go through in order to become better teachers, better at their craft, better at their skills. National Virtual Teachers Association certification is the same type of highly recognized, prestigious, really, certification that really just focuses on virtual teaching skills, teaching in the virtual world, teaching remotely. How can we better engage students? And all of these programs that are aligned with the certification, just it zeroes in on meeting special needs of students, different needs of students, or of the classroom groups as a whole.
Good stuff. Now, oh, go ahead, John.
Essentially, we also just want to make sure our teachers are more marketable. I mean, you have that certification. There's something a step above what most teachers have who are teaching virtually. So we want to make sure our teachers, as Marcia said, and as Dion said, are the best out here.
And so far, so good. I love it. Now, how can universities and colleges work with PLI? Marcia, you want to take a stab at that?
One thing that we do when we partner with a university is to let them know what types of people we're looking for as far as candidates to employ. So obviously, you've heard in the news, I know over and over, how difficult it is for young graduates to find positions in their area of study. We certainly want to hire good teachers, fresh teachers, so that we can train them to be the best teachers to employ. So we can work with universities on internship programs, as well as provide different types of ways that we would like our teachers to be trained and share, just a sharing of ideas. Dion?
Indeed. And so last year we partnered with some universities, and I was very fortunate. I had a little mentee, a student teacher, to help me out when I was teaching at Kendrick High School. And it was wonderful. We're learning from each other. But the main thing is to balance the workload. And so that screen space, I mean, you had to chunk your activities. And so, and then Marcia, you experienced some student teachers too last school year as well. And so it's a great mentorship program that PLI offers. to the community?
We worked with Teachers Ready out of Florida to help train teachers to be virtual teachers in our classrooms. And we also aligned our training along with the evaluation for teachers that that would be employed either in Florida or any other state. So there's an evaluation process that they go through, as well as other things that they look for with new teachers. They want new teachers to be involved in the community. So I know that the group in Florida had our mentees or our student interns go in and be community volunteers as well as teaching alongside us. So our teachers in my classroom in particularly, I had a student teacher who was from Maryland, and she came in and observed me for a while. We met regularly so that I can share my experience as a I was going to say an older teacher, but I think I'll say seasoned teacher to give her, teach her tricks of the trade and things to look out for. We discussed different challenges that were faced in the classroom with different special needs of students, as well as discipline, as well as content, and then even just day-to-day classroom management.
Okay, good stuff. John, anything you would like to add?
Nope, they covered everything.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Now, we talked about earlier the training or license that it takes. I must ask, does one have to have like a bachelor's degree? Can they have an associate's? Do they just go through a substitute program? What do those credentials look like for the teachers for ProxLearn?
So all of our teachers have to be licensed in at least one state. They have to have a bachelor's degree. They have to be authorized to work in the U.S. And they also have to be willing to get additional certs. Just because some school districts may ask you to teach an AP course, and we may pay for you to go get AP certification or the NVTA certification and things of that nature. But you have to have a 4-year degree. You have to have some teaching experience, at least a year. We will take some teachers, and if you student taught with us, we will hire a first-year teacher. But you do have to have at least a teaching certification in at least one state.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, why is your partnership with ESS so relevant?
It's relevant because ESS is the #1 supplier of substitute teachers in the country. And they are well known in the US. Everybody knows who ESS is. So partnering with them has also opened the doors for us to expand our business and also our brand. So we partner with ESS because they allow us to partner with them on PD and professional development and things of that nature. But they also funnel candidates to us. So they run across teachers all the time, and they don't hire certified teachers. So they send those certified teachers to us. And if we see teachers who are maybe a year away from completing their degree, we send them to ESS so they can sub in a school district, and at least they gain some type of experience in the classroom so that when they become a teacher, a certified teacher, they are able to have some background knowledge of what it means to be in the classroom. I remember my first day as a teacher, I graduated with a teaching certification. And I was ready to go. Wrote all my lesson plans, thought everything was going to work out just fine. And within 10 minutes, I was like, okay, that's not going to work. And had to revamp everything. But, we teach you how to kind of manage that and also manage your expectations so that you're not overwhelmed that first day.
Okay. Anybody else has anything to add?
There's other things that go along with it, just how we would like for teachers to be involved in community around them, as well as to promote, different types of learning, different learning strategies and teaching strategies. So it's more than just coming right out of college with a degree. There's a lot more to it than that, behind the scenes, different types of reports and things that teachers are responsible for that not many people realize how much we do behind the scenes.
Wow. So before we end tonight, is there anything else you would like to share about proximity learning?
I think in my experience, prior to going into education to begin with, I had worked at a few different businesses, and then I went into teaching, as I said, for over 24 years in several different schools. Then I come to proximity learning. The one thing that I can say about this company, truthfully, is that the culture of the company overall, from teachers to to administrators, to upper management, to the people who we associate with, to who we contract with to get things done. It's one of the most positive experiences I've ever had in my career. And that's one big selling point when I talk to new candidates. You know, we want to be supportive of the teachers who we hire, the people who we hire, because we know that if we're supportive of these people, then they're going to give their best to our kids. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. We want to make sure that our students in each of the classrooms across the country have the best experience virtually as possible. And that's what our job is, to support one another in order for us to be the best for our students.
Good stuff. Anyone else?
Just join the PLI family. Come on, we your family. Come on, join us.
And I agree with Marcia. It's probably the best environment that I've worked in, and I've created a few environments, and this is probably the best because there's no ego. Everybody wants to help each other, and I think that's the best thing about it. And then the flexibility is amazing. As long as you're doing your job, I mean, you come and go as you need to. Just make sure that you're here for kids. As long as you're helping kids, you're okay.
Just guys, all for the children. I love it. So with that being said, hindsighters, I am sure that you are walking away with many great nuggets, visions, and possibly a new career path, and hopefully with proximity learning incorporated, right? So you are definitely walking away with the understanding of the power and importance of partnering with PLI. So please remember to visit proxlearn.com. That's PROXLEARN.com. where the mission is to connect all learners with the expert teachers they deserve. Can't get any better than that. So remember to visit our website at www.hindsightmediaradio.com. Until next time, be safe, be well. Good night.